Studio 31.
WQOW, home of your Storm Tracker 18 weather team.
Coming up tonight on WQOW News 18 at 6, the second impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump has ended with acquittal. What both sides had to say in their closing arguments, coming up in 5 minutes. One of the 7 candidates for state superintendent made a stop in Eau Claire this morning. What she says needs to change within the state's Department of Instruction, that's coming up in 2 minutes. But first up next, a new winter sport has been introduced to the United States. An overview of the first ever Croquet Curl Championship that was held here in the Chippewa Valley, coming up right now.
From WQOW, this is Eau Claire's own News 18 6 p.m. report.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm McKenna Alexander. Well, it sure was chilly and snowy this morning in River Prairie Park, but that didn't stop people from participating in the first ever United States Croquet Curl Championship. Now, 8 teams came to the new Croquet Curl rink, the first of its kind in the country. Similar to curling, players try to get their team's rocks into the button or to get the other team's rocks out of the playing surface. Altoona's management analyst Roy Atkinson says it's exciting to see people embrace a new winter sport.
The addition of Croquet Curl to River Prairie Park is huge. It's another outlet to get people outside. On a really cold day, it's -5 degrees right now. We have a really nice crowd, and people are out here excited to play.
Croquet Curl is a relatively new game created in Canada that combines aspects of curling and the board game crokinole. Congrats to today's winners, Team Pepliski/Parks, who got to take home the United States Croquet Curl Championship belt. In Eau Claire, 7 candidates are vying for a place on the April state superintendent ballot. And today, one of those candidates made a stop here in Eau Claire. This morning, Deborah Kerr spoke at the Carpenters Union building, sharing her stances on issues facing Wisconsin's Department of Public Instruction. She says if elected, she'll focus on increasing childhood literacy and closing the achievement gap between white students and students of color.
And I have a vision as the next state superintendent to create a world-class education system that is the highest performing in the country.
Another candidate, Troy Gunderson, who's from Colfax, also visited Eau Claire on yesterday. For a full list of all 7 candidates, head to our website at WQOW.com, and that primary will be held on Tuesday. The top 2 candidates will then go on to run for the position in April. And our COVID-19 coverage for the first time since Election Day on November 3rd, the U.S. is averaging fewer than 100,000 new COVID-19 cases per day. Now, that's according to new data from Johns Hopkins University. The U.S. has recorded more than 27 million cases since the pandemic began, but the last time this metric was below 100,000 was 100 days ago. A COVID-19 test will not be required for you to fly within the United States. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention decided not to recommend tests for domestic air travel. Federal officials said this week they had been considering making it a requirement, but for now the agency will continue to review options for containing the spread of the virus on planes. Now, even though there is no test recommendation, the CDC does not encourage people to travel during the pandemic. Meanwhile, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration says it moved too quickly to allow coronavirus antibody tests. That's the message from 2 top officials with the agency, saying the policy was flawed and the FDA needs to work to make sure it doesn't happen again. They added that agencies need to prepare ahead of time for quick development of tests in pandemics. Last March, the FDA published guidance allowing developers to market tests without emergency use authorization, as long as the test was validated and it carried warnings that it was not FDA reviewed. But according to officials, that move flooded the market with tests that ended up performing poorly. Well, Jess, those wind chills are just brutal. And I know we hit the coldest temps of this winter last weekend. Is there any chance of getting lower than that tonight?
That's actually what we are expecting. Really? I hate to break it to you. No. So, yeah, we are already very cold at this hour, and we're below 0. We're at -6 in Eau Claire right now. Wind chill, though, already in the double digits below 0, so it feels like -23. It's only 6 o'clock, so we're only going to get colder from here. Area-wide, we have some bitter cold wind chills as well. You'll notice Cumberland, it almost feels like 30 below at this hour. So we do have dangerously cold temperatures and wind chills in the forecast again tonight. Now, we've had wind chill advisories for most nights for the past 8 days or so, but wind chill warning for tonight. More intense wind chills as cold as 45 below are possible area-wide, especially north of Eau Claire, and actual temperatures expected to fall into the 20s below zero. I'll have a full look at the cold weather and if it ends anytime soon in my full forecast.
My gosh, okay, thanks, Jess. Well, national news, the second impeachment trial of former Donald Trump has ended with an acquittal. Closing arguments began today shortly after the Senate reversed course on calling witnesses. John Lorinc reports on the details.
A historic day on Capitol Hill.
Mr. Bennett, guilty. Mrs. Blackburn, not guilty.
President Trump is acquitted for a second time. House impeachment managers say there was no doubt then President Trump incited the mob that attacked the U.S. Capitol on January 6th.
Donald Trump invited them, he incited them, then he directed them.
After the Senate originally voted in favor of calling trial witnesses, impeachment managers instead agreed to enter a statement from Republican Representative Jamie Herrera Butler, who shed light upon a heated conversation between House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy and Trump. Lawmakers briefed on the call by McCarthy say that when McCarthy called on Trump to tell the Capitol rioters to stop, Trump responded, "Well, Kevin, I guess these people are more upset about the election than you are."
He delighted in it. He reveled in it. He exulted in it. He could not understand why the people around him did not share his delight.
Trump's defense team says the former president is not responsible for the rioters' actions.
Because the act of incitement never happened. He engaged in no language of incitement whatsoever on January 6th or any other day following the election.
That final vote was 57-43 in favor of acquittal. In other national news, the Biden administration is moving to reverse a health care move made by former President Donald Trump, namely letting states require Medicaid recipients to work in order to get coverage. Now, the move comes 2 weeks after President Biden signed an executive order on Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. He ordered the review of any agency policies that might reduce coverage, create unnecessary barriers for enrollees, or otherwise undermine the programs. On Friday, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services began notifying states it is determining whether to withdraw approvals that require Medicaid recipients to work. The agency says it preliminarily determined a work mandate would not promote the objectives of the program. And about 25,000 migrants forced to stay in Mexico under a Trump-era program will soon start getting their chance to get an immigration court hearing. The Biden administration will start processing migrants from Central America and other parts of the world who were seeking asylum at the U.S.-Mexico border. Once processed into the United States, individuals will be released into the country and enrolled in alternatives to detention programs as they proceed with their immigration hearings. Phase 1 of their operation is expected to start February 19th. Still ahead, one actress has a serious injury after falling in the jungle. And why is Justin Timberlake apologizing to Britney Spears and Janet Jackson? Find out in 2 minutes, coming up in entertainment news.
WQOW has an immediate opening for a weekend news director. Ideally, this person would have some experience directing, but on-the-job training is provided. Television experience is a plus. For more information, go to the job listings at WQOW.com. The WIAA Boys and Girls State Hockey Championships are back, celebrating more than 50 years of WIAA State Hockey. Don't miss the action. February 20th, Championship Saturday, starting at 9:30 on WQOW-18. Get the Magic of March app for everything WIAA. Live streaming, schedules, scores, highlights, and more. Download the Magic of March app today.
I mean, a lot of people know the name Keith Edwards here, and it's because Keith Edwards brings so much to this community. He's from this area, he grew up here, and he has a lot to share. He's also a name that you can trust. And so when I'm next to him sitting there, I feel like not only am I improving as an anchor, but I can also become someone that you can trust to get your news.
You're watching the News 18 6 p.m. report with McKenna Alexander, meteorologist Jess Langlois, and sports with Rebecca Fiala. The 6 p.m. report continues right now.
Justin Timberlake is apologizing to Britney Spears and Janet Jackson. On social media Friday, the singer said he has made missteps in the past that contributed to, quote, a system that condones misogyny and racism. Timberlake said he was deeply sorry for times when he spoke out of turn or did not speak up for what was right. He didn't really offer any specific examples of the actions he regrets, but he did say he cares for and respects both Spears and Jackson. Timberlake's apology comes after the rise in popularity of Framing Britney Spears, a documentary highlighting her career and the scrutiny she has faced in the media. Meanwhile, Ashley Judd is in a South African hospital after she fell and broke her leg in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The actress says she fell over a tree in the jungle, shattering her leg, going on to say it took 55 hours to get her from the jungle to an operating table in South Africa. She's now in the ICU. Judd was in the Congo for a research project on a species of endangered primates. Meteorologist Jess Langlois is up next.
Multiplying good through the power of service to others.
News 18 would like to congratulate Pam Holler, the most recent winner of the Jefferson Award.
My passion is truly for making a difference. I believe that what we owe our community is to step up and to help.
The Jefferson Awards, honoring those who are multiplying good through the power of service right here in our community. To make a nomination or learn ways you can make a difference through the power of service, go to WQOW.com and click on the Community tab.
Brought to you in part by Marshfield Clinic.
We're News 18 and we're digging deeper.
Shining the light on local stories that affect you.
Local stories you won't see anywhere else. There is a fraud triangle.
Investigating every side of the story.
He calls plea bargains a necessary evil.
Digging deeper, asking the tough questions.
I was just in shock.
Well, there we go. You can watch me work. So I threw on the suit to get a closer look.
Bringing you a better perspective.
Now more than ever,
we're digging deeper.
We're digging deeper. Eau Claire's own.
Eau Claire's own.
Eau Claire's own.
News 18.
News 18.
Your Storm Tracker 18 weather.
It's cold. We know that. It's been cold for more than a week now. This morning, we started off sub-zero temperatures again. Not surprising. You did make it down to -11 in Eau Claire and some up close to 20 degrees below zero in Cumberland this morning as well. But we're already going to be seeing those cold temperatures in a little while here. But we've really been in this cold snap for more than a week now. We've had sub-zero low temperatures all week long. In fact, Thursday was our coldest morning of the week, where we were more than 20 degrees below zero actual temperature in Eau Claire. We're getting our coldest push of air yet this weekend, so there's a good chance we could exceed that tonight as well. So after that cold burst this morning, temperatures didn't even make it above zero this afternoon in Eau Claire. We were stuck at -2 for our warmest temperature today. Ladysmith actually made it to zero. The rest of us sub-zero, aside from Black River Falls, that made it to the zero mark as well today. But that's about as warm as it got, and it's definitely not getting any warmer from here. We're already at -6 in Eau Claire and -9 in Cumberland, as well as Rice Lake, -8 in Ladysmith, and already down to -10 in Menominee. But our wind chills are already in the double digits below zero in most places. It feels like 23 below in Eau Claire, and it feels like almost 30 below in Cumberland right now. So as a result, we do have a wind chill warning in effect. You'll notice winds aren't terrible, but with this kind of cold temperatures where we have wind speeds close to 10 miles an hour, 12 miles an hour in Cumberland, it really doesn't take much to get those really dangerous wind chills going. So as a result, wind chill warning. For the past 8 nights or so, we did have wind chill advisories in effect, but tonight we do have a wind chill warning. So this is for tonight into tomorrow morning through about the middle of the day. And during this time, anywhere in the area, this is area wide, could see wind chills between 30 below and even as cold as 45 below, especially north of Eau Claire. We could be really seeing those intense wind chills, and this is dangerous weather. Less than 10 minutes to frostbite in this kind of conditions. For Eau Claire, we're looking at definitely wind chills in the 30 below range, potentially dipping below 40 below in terms of our wind chills. in the morning. So that's almost borderline. Don't even want to go outside in this kind of weather. It's definitely, you need to layer up and take steps to prepare. But the good news is there is some relief on the way. The next few mornings, very cold wind chills, very low frostbite times, so dangerously cold. But as we head later on into the upcoming week, you'll notice that there is a warming trend. So finally, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And in terms of precipitation, we did pick up a quick 0.2 of an inch of snow today. It did kind of slick up some roads as well. And now as we head into the next few days, though, really looking at only minimal chances for precipitation and a mix of clouds and sun, but most days will be on the sunnier side Sunday, and even as we head into Monday as well, we should see a good amount of sunshine into the day, perhaps a few clouds in the afternoon. But for tonight, we're looking at actual temperatures could be close to 25 below. Wind chills as cold as 40 below, 45 below to the north of Eau Claire. Dangerously cold even into tomorrow, likely not going to get above zero actual temperatures either. Bitter wind chills all day as well. So definitely a cold Valentine's Day. If you have someone to snuggle up with to keep warm, I would advise that because it's going to be freezing. And as we head into the rest of the week, we're cold through at least midweek, but there is some light at the end of the tunnel by the end of next week.
Jess, in your earlier graphic, it said 2 degrees was brisk, and I think only in Wisconsin would 2 degrees be like a warm front.
Well, compared to what we've seen, we've had sub-zero lows all week long. 2 degrees is a heat wave.
That's true. I'm used to just seeing negatives at this point. All right, thanks, Jess. Well, still ahead, individual state finals for wrestling are underway. Updates from the mats coming up, and some local teams skating toward a trip to the state tournament. Those highlights next.
Get the latest from the News 18 News Desk every weeknight. Today's top stories, your accurate forecast, live in the studio, live on the scene. When news breaks, we're right there. News 18, weeknights at 5, 6, and 10 on WQOW. Now, News 18 Sports.
The CFM Sabres are looking to cap off their first winning season since 2012 with a trip to state. Winner of today's sectional final against the Fusion will punch their state ticket. Now let's go to the first period. Sabres' Emmeline Stevenson, the snipe. That right there is going to put them on the board first. All right, and then there's more from the Sabres. We're still in the first period here, and it's a battle out in front. Sydney Polzin is going to knock them in. That right there would put them up 2-0. On to the second. Sabres leading 4-2. The Fusion's Jenna Bergmanis sends that one in. That is going to bring it back to a 1-point game. In the third period, though, Sabres' Addison Fournette on the attack, puts it in. She follows. The Sabres begin to pull away, winning the game 7-4, and they are state-bound for the first time in program history.
Our girls this year, we've definitely earned it. We knew we could get here, and to finally be here is just amazing. Yeah. We always, like we said, we had the capability of being here, and to finally getting it done, it's just unreal.
All right, on the boys' side, Chi-High Cardinals up against top seed Hudson this afternoon. Let's go to the first period. Hudson on the power play. Raiders set up Zach Kokendorf for the goal. 1-0 Hudson. And just a few minutes later, same scenario and same result. Kokendorfer with his second goal. It's 2-0 Hudson. Raiders add onto it in the second period. Carter Mears with another power play goal makes it 3-0. Now Chi-High on the board shortly after, though. Owen Christa lights the lamp. So Cards trail 3-1. They cut it 3-2 in the final period, but Hudson adds an empty net goal to win 4-2 and advances to state. Well, how about some track and field? UW Eau Claire on the road at Stout this morning. Let's start with the women's 600-meter hurdles. Stout freshman Hannah Zastro across the line. 8.95 seconds. Men's race is next. From lane 4, middle of your screen, UW Eau Claire's Jordan Lacey, your winner, at 8.48 seconds. In the field, UW Eau Claire's Katie Phoebe wins the weight throw, her farthest distance, 15.42 meters. UW Eau Claire women win the meet with 91 points. Stout men take bragging rights with 83 points. Well, it's individual state finals in wrestling today. The final round getting underway just about an hour ago in D3 at 106. Dawson Johnson of Cumberland against Ian Radnitz of Glenwood City. It's a 1-point match, but with seconds left, Johnson gets the takedown, and he is your D3 106 state champion. All right, let's go to the 120 weight class on the right side of your screen. Braden Sonatag of Cadott gets the 7-0 victory over Colton Clem of Manawa. Sonatag is once again a state champion. Now, there's lots more wrestling to come tonight, so we were going to have more results for you coming up at 10. Well, the Badgers are still searching for themselves on the offensive end, but they've been able to make it up on the other end. Wednesday night, the Badgers held Nebraska to just 48 points, 23 below their average. UW is leading the Big Ten in scoring defense. Transition defense was the only concern against Nebraska.
Because it gets other guys involved. Their selfless thing to say. And nothing
getting the ball stopped, not turning the ball over so they could get runouts. Just shoring up those little things, I think, was definitely the key, because when we're in the half court and everybody's locked in, we're a pretty good defensive team, so just not straying away from the plan.
Badgers will host Michigan tomorrow. That is it for sports, but tonight at 10 is going to be a sports overtime, so a lot more highlights from today's events. McKenna is back in 2 minutes.
This is News 18. On the scene, in the studio, in your living room, sharing the news that matters to you. Working hard every day for every story. Holding ourselves to a higher standard, answering your questions with in-depth reporting you can trust. Our commitment to you hasn't changed. A commitment to accuracy, a commitment to transparency, a commitment to the facts. We are Eau Claire's own News 18.
All right, well, just in time for Valentine's Day, there's a new female two-toed sloth named Nentas at the Milwaukee County Zoo, and zookeepers hope Nentas will have a love connection with the resident male sloth Fezzik. Now, the first step in this love story was to bring Fezzik in to meet Nentas, followed by having Nentas explore the habitat with Fezzik nearby. The final step was to return Fezzik to his habitat to let them interact. Officials say there was a lot of curiosity in their first meeting. Fezzik even went for the bold move of trying to enter Nentas' crate, but there wasn't enough room for the both of them. I think it's safe to say that he's very interested in Nentas.
I'd say, hopefully they have a good love story.
It's a good thing that they're in. It looks like that's an indoor.
Yeah, it does look that way. It definitely good for them to be inside because it's cold out. We are already well below zero tonight, and the wind chills even colder. A reminder, we do have a wind chill warning in effect tonight through midday tomorrow, so dangerous wind chills. We're talking frostbite, 10 minutes or less, so very cold tonight. The actual temperatures in the 20s below zero. Wind chills, again, could be as cold as 45 below, mainly north of Eau Claire, but even in Eau Claire, as cold as 40 below. Not much relief tomorrow, but thankfully some relief later on next week.
I am not looking forward to tonight, Jess. It's a good thing that I'll be inside working from home. Thanks, Jess, and thanks for joining us tonight at 6. We'll see you back here at 10.
The following is a paid program.
This program is a paid presentation for Omega XL and is brought to you by Great Health Works.